This May Day saw thousands of protests across the country, including several here in the mountains. Some protesters spoke out against current conditions for the working class, while others voiced frustration over the Trump administration. News 13's Ed Diorio joins us live in Asheville. So Ed, how does all of this tie back into May Day?
Well, Holly, of all the protests that we saw today on May Day, which is also known as International Workers' Day, there were a lot of signs that had to do with things like DOGE, federal job loss, and public education funding. So you're right. How does all that tie back? Well, those are all relating back to the working class at the federal, local, state level altogether. It all falls under that umbrella of May Day.
It's a good opportunity to bring our concerns and positions to the folks that live here around us.
When it comes to the concerns surrounding May Day, there were a lot of them. Whether you were in Asheville,
I left 2 signs in my car because there's so many things I am upset about that I couldn't make up my mind.
or one of the 2 groups in Hendersonville.
I grew up in the 60s and 70s. This is what 60s and 70s was about, and it's now back.
Each crowd advocated for subjects like DEI, Social Security, immigration policies, federal job loss, all of which affecting people in their everyday jobs.
Right now, it seems more important than it ever has for workers to stand in solidarity across industries.
While many showed displeasure with the Trump administration,
I know people whose jobs are in the federal government here who voted for Trump. They've lost their jobs.
others wanted their voices to be heard by the working class who couldn't be in attendance.
Working class people, that's who I think is the most important audience to hear this message, because people need to understand that we have rights and that we have to protect them.
Stand up, fight back!
If we could have one thing come out of this, it would be a national increase to the minimum wage to be a living wage, so that people don't have to work more than one job.
Now, the afternoon had a beginning at 1 o'clock with 2 of those protests happening, as I mentioned, in downtown Hendersonville. And then one of those groups made their way here to Pack Square Park. And there were protesters here as late as 5 o'clock. So this has been an hours-long, all-afternoon affair. Those 2 protests I mentioned that were in Hendersonville and Asheville were organized by 22 different activist organizations for workers. Live in downtown Asheville, Ed Diorio, News 13.